Update on the action items.
I'm first on the list. You want me to go ahead?
Sure.
Is dog license. I've asked the animal control Lauren Senate to come in. I would like to say before I have a mea culpa question that has come up that I misquoted some figures regarding dog charges per day. That's my fault, nobody else's. I made a mistake, and Lauren Senate is here to kind of get me organized and bring us update on what's going on. Lauren, you care to come up and...
So, and just for clarification, that number is with the contract with the Humane Society, it's $10 for the first day and $20 for every day after that for the first week, which I think equals $130 per week.
Okay.
So basically, this is all based on state law, and Bill and Jeanette asked me to come in and speak with them about that law, which states that all dogs should be up to date on their rabies vaccinations and licensed. And the reason we do the licenses is for public safety, really, and also the tags help people, if their dogs get lost, help me to find them to return their dogs. The fee for a spayed and neuter dog is $6.50, and $4 of that goes to the state low-income spay-neuter fund. $1 of that goes to buy the actual tags because the towns are required to pay those, and 50 cents goes to the state lab in case a rabies test is needed. And so there's only $1 left, and so it's actually makes no money for the town because you also have to pay me to help enforce it, so it's actually not making any money. And I think some people think it's the town just trying to make more money, but clearly they're not. So anyway, so I had the meeting with Jeanette and Bill, and then I believe that same night he brought it up at the meeting with y'all. And so I was supposed to go to the places where the dogs who haven't been registered live, and that was quite a process, finding everyone's physical addresses. That took a few hours of phone books and downstairs and here and on the computer, and I found everyone's physical addresses and started making the visits, and really made the visits with a very educational tone, not accusatory to people, and it went really well. But there are quite a few left, and the reason why is that my budget ran out. And so for me to continue doing it is I'd be actually paying money to be paying for childcare and gas. And so right now where it stands is that there's still about 29 people who haven't registered their dogs, at least that are on this list. And that equals about 36 dogs because some people... So I guess I'm here to just report that and also see what you would like me to do with this point.
Well, I think the ones who expired would probably be the target group.
Yeah, they're prioritized for sure.
Yeah.
The problem is that I've made so many visits and oftentimes no one's home. So I would believe the next step would be to actually leave something stating that I was there and that's why, and ask them to come down. But the state law does actually say, and this is state law, it's not a decision that the town has made or that I have made, that you can seize the dog, which of course we want to avoid doing at all costs, but it is legal to do that if someone gave me that order or direction to do.
How much more money would it take for you to continue the work, do you think? How much?
Well, that's hard to say because if you could find people at home or not, but you know, going to 29 different houses, that I'd say you could do maybe 3 or 4 houses an hour if they were all home and you know, was efficient and whatnot. So I mean, I'd love to say I could continue just doing it for free, but it's actually, you know, paying to do it. So unless someone else, you know, wanted to do it, that's what it would take for me to. I mean, I think it's important. I really do. At least just the ones who we know whose rabies vaccinations have expired, just for public safety. I mean, if someone was to get bitten by a dog and the town knew that the dog was expired and didn't follow up on it, there's, I guess, the potential for liability to the town. I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch, but...
Could you, I'm twisting your arm a little bit, but is there any estimate you could give us about the cost? Your stipend is like $500?
Yes.
And if you could venture a guess, I mean, it's a better guess than I'd have. What would be the amount you think might get through it if you, is that
I
a
mean,
fair
and that's really
question or
not why
unfair?
I'm here. I'm just here
Oh, I
because
know,
you
but it's
asked
an
me to
important
come.
question. Yes, it's still an important question. We'd consider it later, but
Right.
if you could just give us some estimate, that's gonna be.
I mean, let's say we could do 4 houses per hour, and it'd probably be about 8 hours or something like that. So, I mean, to do them all, to just do the ones who I know whose rabies have expired, that's only 12
Oh, no,
dogs.
you
So
need to do
that's
them all, okay, that's all right. So
So-
you're saying, you think you could do all this in 8 hours?
it'd be
I
a
don't,
good
I don't think you could get there. in 8
start. I mean, if everyone was home and
I
it was
know.
efficient and all that, but
Otherwise, my guess is you're looking at back and forth at least for 3 or 4 days and, okay, so anyway, we'll have to, I don't know how the money works, to tell you the truth, but, we'd have to figure out some more money. The other question she raises is if you've been there once or twice or you can't get there, do we want to leave a note?
it's actually required in the law that you have to, before a local law enforcement officer seizes any unlicensed dog, a written warning shall be given to the dog owner. Again, I want to make it clear, I have no intention of seizing someone's dog. I'd like to avoid that at all costs. So,
Can we start with the 12 that have expired as a way to see how much funds we're gonna
Sure.
spend at that, so at least get the paperwork started and at least going after the ones who are overdue and
Sure.
maybe working backwards that way might be the least expensive, and maybe the word will get out and people will pay up that $6.50.
right, and that's the other thing I did, when the selectmen's minutes came out in the e-news about this meeting, I gave everybody about a week to come in, because most people read those, and then I started, so trying to give everybody every opportunity to make it happen, but it's pretty late now, 3 months late or more, so. Any other questions or anything?
Well, so how many home visits have you made where you've actually been able to connect with people?
Well, there's been very many where no one was there, and I've been
Right.
back multiple times. I've only given out 2 tags. A lot of people I've talked to around town, and they end up coming in, but I've actually only taken in money for 2 tags. So that's how
on
much
the
of a
property.
process it is.
Is that
On the
correct?
property.
Right, but other people have come in.
Have come in
yes.
as a result of reading the e-news or me
Right.
talking to them in town and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have, what was it,
29
29 left total?
$30.
And you started out with how many total? Was it 37?
Well,
Oh, I was 38 or something like that. So
right.
so if, I'm trying to lead to this money somehow, but if the stipend was $500 to do, I think the number was under 40. So if she has 29 to go, you're just not going to get it done in 8 hours.
Well, I mean, that $500 has been spent on many, many things, not just this.
I
Oh, okay.
recognize. No,
Okay.
that's okay. I'm cool. I'm just talking about to get the other 29. We got to come up with, I think, because you can't get a volunteer to do this. So I think we have to face it somehow. We don't have to face it this instant, but I recognize what the question is, and we just need to look at it.
Well, we need to face it before any more action's taken, because
Yes.
the stipend goes calendar year, January to December 30th, so we're out of money until January. So we know we've got dogs out there whose vaccinations have expired, and once you know that, I think you're kind of at a point where you are responsible for following through to take, yeah. I was just wondering how many you've gone to, because I was just questioning in my mind, are physical visits the most efficient way forward on this? Although I know Jeanette's made phone calls, we have.
Yeah, I've made phone calls and emails
those
as well.
haven't been answered, and the emails haven't been answered either.
Yeah,
So I
Jeanette
guess
sent
it's really
2 sets of letters. So
Yeah.
they received 2 sets of letters
Yeah.
and phone calls. And
So are those certified? Are we sending those letters out certified
I
mail?
don't think they were certified.
No.
Court clerk would know that, so.
I don't think so.
I mean, the town clerk, because she's the one that sent them, I guess, right?
That's a good idea.
So, well, certified letters aren't cheap either. They're like
No.
$6.
Yep.
It's the cost of the license, $6.11 or something
true.
like that is a certified letter, I think, so. Chief, is there more money in your budget to help the animal control officer?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You know, I won't know for probably, I'll get a clearer picture probably in another 2 months, but at this time, I don't see it.
Okay. I think we need to, if we want to do any more work on this before January, we need to identify where there's some money in the budget.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then.
I
let
plan
you know
on
what we
raising that
find.
level for next year too, I
Okay.
imagine.
Yeah, but I appreciate the report.
Yeah, no
for sure.
problem.
It really
Thank you very much for coming.
does a
Thank
great
you, my
job.
pleasure.
Thank you, thank you.
Scope of the issue. Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks, Lauren.
Is that it? Can I go to the next one?
Yeah.
A citizen called me regarding a question that I was somewhat unfamiliar with, but said that I want to bring it up just as a clarification process. I'm not here to make a discussion out of it. There was a question, I guess, regarding tuition that the town of Jackson is going to, or is thinking about. This is my understanding of it. You have a teacher that lives out of town. If she brings her children to Jackson School, we would pay some subsidy for their tuition. And as far as I know, I said, man, my memory may be bad, but the Jackson Selectmen, us three, at least during the time I'm here, we didn't vote on that, I don't think. And I guess the next question is, and then that ends my discussion, is that something the school board does on their own and then that's it? If it is, I'm done. That's their privilege and authority.
So,
Yeah, I think anything that has to do with school district
Okay.
policies and procedures is basically decided on by the school board.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll get the answer back and that's all I'm ready to
Yeah.
move on. Okay.
all right. Other action items there was I had the Department of Safety ordinance, which was given to the planning board. Bob was free. Julie had sent a letter to John Fischera for thanking him for using the parking lot.
I have that for you.
For the sign? Okay, good, thank you. Calculating the cost of processing building permits.
So on the high side with paper, copy, laminating, it's going to be about 20 to 22 for the office to process that. So I think that I've got it on Andy's list of matters, but you guys can decide if the $25 works for
Okay, so that's right ballpark then. LG fire alarm and burglar alarm fines, waiting to hear back from LGC on that one. Give Jay a copy of the job description, part-time, to be approved next meeting, and that's been done. And we posted the ad for the planning board opening. That's
The
all.
deadline for that was yesterday, and we have not gotten anything.
Have to redo it, I guess. All right. All right, so no video conference call.
Right.
That's all set, and I guess we'll go to public comments. George?
I've been out of the loop and I haven't had a chance to follow up. The last time I was here, I asked about implementing the Jackson Code ordinance.
Mhm.
Where we stand on that?
Well, we have been implementing it as, you know, the regular IBC code. Andy's been in charge of the whole thing. Okay, we've been working on a job description for Andy, and he was supposed to get a contract with us. We've been operating without a contract other than the handshake before, so we're trying to formalize that and get a solid contract with Andy in writing on that, and he hasn't gotten back to us on that.
Is there now a position in the town identified?
It's per diem is how we've been operating it.
The ordinance says it will establish a position.
That's right, and I think at the work session we had, the back and forth was on, are we going to establish a position that is a contract relationship with an individual or business, Or are we going to establish a position that's a town employee status? And so we discussed that at the last work session, and we haven't finalized anything on that. Either way, whether it's a contract or an employee that comes on as a staff, a paid staff member of the town, there will be clear job duties laid out. Either way, we're either going to contract with a business or an individual to perform the duties, or we're going to hire a staff and supervise staff to perform the duties. So the duties, I don't think really would change much, but that's the update on the work session.
Where would the official records be kept?
Official records of the individual or the business that we contract with, you mean, or hire, would be probably here, I guess.
So I could come here and find the official records? And
Official
all
records
that goes with that is
of their work or of the relationship with the town.
the work. If I wanted to find building permits, monetary transactions, accountability funds, reference materials, etc.
Mhm.
Would I come here as a position in the town?
Well, we have
Good question.
a folder with all the building permits.
Are
and it
they
has-
the official ones or copies?
They're the official ones.
The copies are
ones-
original.
They're the originals.
Okay.
And they have the breakdown of fees on one of the back pages. So-
In all the reference materials, i.e. the building codes, etc. If I want to build something and I want to find what the codes require, I come here then as an official position in the town.
Oh, Andy's responding.
Yeah, George, the town's required to have a set of code books here, and they do. They have had. And every time we go through a code cycle that the legislature adopts, we update those books. But yeah, those are available to the public here.
Pete?
Isn't it more cost efficient, the subcontract?
I'm sorry, Dee, I didn't hear you.
More cost efficient, not as an employee, but as a contractor.
We didn't really identify any cost difference.
But that's what we're leaning for.
Yeah.
I could think of resist it.
Okay?
Yes, last night at the ZBA meeting, the Wentworth Hall addition was approved. I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask about that, and maybe Mary could answer them. I don't know if you're aware of the fact that they're talking about putting a spiral staircase in to the spa rooms. That's very difficult on even in a home, let alone for an establishment, especially if there's a fire. And of course, the ladders only go up 35 feet. And the other question was, has the inspector or somebody looked to see what they're going to do for the septic system for the 12 units that are going to be put in there?
So I haven't seen any definitive. The first hurdle was to get through the ZBA and get their proposed elevation granted. I haven't seen any, other than elevation, where I was able to determine that it's over the 35 feet threshold that the town allows. I haven't seen any fleshed out plans, so they don't have a building permit to move forward. Anything that they put in is going to have to comply with the state building code, IBC, for that it's all new construction, so they'll be held to that standard.
Thank you.
And as far as the septic goes, that will be, Burr Phillips does the review to town for that, and I would expect he's going to be looking at that because we won't issue a building permit. The state won't allow us to issue a building permit unless we have adequate septic capacity. So we will be looking at that also.
Are there any issues with the spiral staircases up on the fourth floor of that spa area?
So there are some. So, and there are some pretty clear restrictions in the building code as to what's required for access. And they set, minimum widths for spiral stairs, 5 feet, which, that's the smallest spiral stair that's acceptable by the building code. And while 5 feet seems like it's a big stair, when you're trying to move somebody up and down the stairs, you know, that's had a medical problem, it becomes a real issue. So certainly we're going to look at that really hard, because we don't want to create a problem for the fire department for, you know, getting somebody some medical assistance out of that hot tub. So today was the first time I've heard about hot tubs up on the upper deck. So So I'm kind of speaking out of not seeing plans for this. No. So yeah.
Thank you. I didn't know if plans were finalized or anything else. And I just
No. They had, the last I saw them, for review, for just the elevation. They knew that they were going to have a problem with elevation. It was very cursory. There's been no approval issued. They have a whole bunch of structural issues that they've got to address. So, and they really, I think it was probably a smart choice financially. They didn't want to flesh out that project until they knew that it was something that was going to be approved. So they have a lot to do.
Potentially, though, that could be an issue at the next level.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah,
whatever.
but that certainly will be caught when we get a set of plans to review.
That was all the ZBA was doing, was the height requirement.
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I thought about that coming up if I'd seen it or yes, yes.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry
no.
about that.
Just hiding in the corner.
Any other comments? Yes, Bob?
Does the town have they got any reimbursement for all the work they've done on Whitney's Pond? I don't know why it went from Whitney's Pond to a fire pond, because it was always Whitney's Pond. Bill Whitney built it with a swimming pool, and it was all cut ice for years. And never, Whitney had 2 serious fires there, but they never used that water because it was in the winter and it wasn't plowed out. They used the brook. And it was always a 3-way split.
I can respond only to the extent that I spent about 20 minutes talking to Jay about it, and it is a complex issue, but I would feel far more comfortable if Jay were here to talk about what he's done over the years to it. I can't answer your question about that.
I think you should investigate the background of it. I talked to Don Murray, and he was one of the former owners when Whitney's and Black were together, and he said the pond was Whitney's responsibility.
I hesitate to talk out of school here because I'm only...
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I
okay.
think the select board should go back in the records and investigate.
Okay, that's fine.
Share repairs. Costs. I'll check into that, Bob. Any others? Okay. Next, we'll have a police report, please.
We attended to a motor vehicle accident up on Route 16 by Mirror Lake Road. A car had stopped abruptly to pick up a hitchhiker and causing the car behind that to slam on its brakes, and the car behind that to slam on its brakes. We responded to a call of loose goats on Thornhill Road. We assisted the ambulance with an older gentleman having chest pains at a restaurant. We've responded 3 times to a local motel, once in reference to assault and twice in reference to credit card or additional charges. 4 false burglar alarms. We had 2 different district court appearances. We received a call for a suspicious vehicle over by the library. It turned out to be somebody using the Wi-Fi. Had a motor vehicle accident out at the end of Town Hall Road. It was about 4 in the morning, which turned out to be an intoxicated driver who was arrested for drunk driving. Took a report from Gorham Police Department to a reckless driver. We were able to look at the car, pull it over, and find out, and then speak with the driver. We had the arch in the park last weekend, and that went fine, no problems. We did take a report of a dog bite that we're looking into. We had a report of two loose black lab canines towards the backside of Dundee. And we had a motor vehicle accident involving a moose up the notch.
Did get a letter here addressed to you, writing today to thank you for your assistance that you and Sergeant Carlin provided for me and my family during our recent visit to Jackson. I'm extremely grateful for your prompt response and high level of professionalism that you both displayed while dealing with an incident. So it's nice to get those.
There's a second letter in there as well.
Second letter as well? Well, you know, well. Just wanted to, I can't read this one. Put in a good word for Carl. When I reached him at the police station to report my pocketbook was lost or stolen, I was in a panic. He immediately calmed me down, slowly explained to me that what was first step would be in securing credit cards, license, medical cards, etc. Just plainly cool, calm, and collected, and put me at ease. So I just say good job for Carl, Sean, and the department for their duties. So it's nice to get those. Put those in the files.
Thank you.
Did look like your handwriting though. Thank you very much. Anything else for Carl?
I just, out of curiosity, the dog, we've been talking about dogs. You said you had a dog bite.
Yes.
Do you know anything about the dog? Is it a local dog?
No, I don't know. I know it happened this past Saturday, and Sean had handled it. Is handling it.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thanks very much. Thanks, Chief. Lauren, you were on number 6, but did you have anything else you wanted to add to your animal control officer report?
No, but I did know that that dog was not local, Sean said.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Andy, you're up.
I always have the most stuff on the sheet. What's
Oh,
up with that?
things are happening with you, man. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
boy. Yeah.
Good for the town.
Yeah, we've been busy. So pretty standard building permit stuff. We've got up on the transfer station road, we've got adding a ramp to their existing garage. It's going to be quite a structural piece of work, and so I was working with the builder on that so that they could get some some motorcycles up into a loft.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's going to be fun. And so we've got a 20 by 22 barn on Stem Corn Road.
Bless you.
And we've got a new single-family home on Cameron Drive. And on D, we have, they're doing some interior remodeling and some electrical work. So I've been in touch with that contractor several times. An extension for a building permit, and then remodeling of a unit up at High Pastures. We had a couple of, it's been busy, we had a complaint for a structure that's being occupied without a certificate of occupancy. I've asked for that complaint in writing. That hasn't, it came as an email, and I wanted a formal complaint, and I've instructed them to contact town staff, and that hasn't come forward yet. And then there's the garage that was issued a variance for up on North Hampshire Ridge. There was some structural, the builder has some, I think rightly, some structural concerns for retaining the road, and so I've been giving him some guidance on that, and where to get some help for retaining that section of the road so that we don't end up having that in the garage. So, other than that, it's been fairly quiet. Out making all kinds of friends. It's nice. So,
Anybody, anything for Andy?
I got nothing.
Just
Any,
the last part was the
G
fee, yeah.
is
oh,
change in
yeah.
application
So,
fee.
so I think, we had talked about this last time, and Julie's done the exercise in, reviewing what the actual costs are to process a permit, because I know we were concerned about whether or not we were getting enough of a fee at $25, and I think, on the high end, 25 still covers, staff time to process
Does
the
that
stuff.
include your time too as well?
It does not. My time's covered in the
75.
in the value fee,
Okay.
So, but the building permit application fee, I think we're comfortable with that being reducing that to just a flat 25 versus having the 25 and the 75.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So, and I think that fee is only to recover town expenses, so I think that seems reasonable.
Okay. So we'll change that on the future building permits?
Well, yeah, it's the last meeting that you came to us with that recommendation, and we
Yeah.
wanted to get a sense of just what that cost was, and now we've got it. It's $22, so I think at this point, we would need a formal motion to be made and seconded to change that fee structure, I believe.
I think that's appropriate, yeah.
Okay. You care to make that motion?
So I'll go ahead and make that we reduce our application fee for building permits to flat $25.
I second it.
And that'll be effective immediately?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Have fun, guys.
Let's see, next we got a manifest here to sign. You got a couple signatures. I think I got mine.
We have to inspect some things, so yeah.
I got everything else.
You've been good about signing stuff. Get down here.
I was looking at the time of meetings I've had this month. I've been down
We
here.
call him, he's right
He
down.
just zips right down, does he? All right. I think we got all those. Just double check. I'll come down tomorrow if I miss one.
Okay.
Usually me, anyways. All right, MS5 to be signed.
That was prepared and sent over by the CPAs.
Okay, so financial report town here. Let's go home.
There's a copy
Expenditures.
behind with the letter, I kind of, and that's just a copy.
Yep. So I guess need a motion to sign the MS5 form to send to the Department of Revenue.
So moved.
Second?
Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yep. Yep. All right, next is the MS1 extension, which has to be signed now. This was for,
That is for Jason, it needs some more time to finish up his entry
oh,
for
for the taxes.
tax rate.
Need a motion to sign the extension,
So moved.
MS1 extension.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we signed here, right?
Where it says assessor, there,
That's us?
yeah.
I thought that would be Jason. And next we have Tom up again.
wear both hats today.
Yeah.
Lucky man.
The first one, he probably knows more about this than I do, which is the mitigation plan. Mitigation hazards thing that's been done. Supposedly, the grant on it expires in September, and they told us there was a letter that was coming around that we had to sign, which we have not gotten yet.
Ooh.
But then she also followed up with another email saying that all the work is done at the town level. The lady who was hired to sort of coordinate the grant, just has to do a bunch of paperwork to finish it up. And she sent out another email that said that seeing as how there wasn't much done, she was moving us up in her queue to finish it.
Okay.
So, whatever, I don't know, if we get the letter, then I suppose you guys would have to sign it.
The one that requires the extension?
Right.
No, actually, I thought I CC'd you, and we don't need one. Because I had emailed her saying, we don't have it yet. And then she gave me another person to email and said, you know, there were like 5 towns
Right.
that had 85% of it done.
So
That's why she
therefore-
was moving us up, because she didn't really,
We're done.
I'm sorry?
We're done.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we're done on our end. It
Yeah.
was just she had apparently some paperwork to do on her side, which so why she
So
was
we don't
sending us
need-
an extension.
we don't
I
need
don't
the
know.
extension, so.
Cart before the horse situation.
Right.
So anyways, that's in the works. We don't need the extension, obviously, but the plan, I guess, will
Will
be
be sent.
completed and done fairly soon, so.
And we'll have to sign.
The second item I had was, I'm not sure if you all are familiar, but there's some mass casualty trailers in our state. They were all paid for by the federal government after 9/11, and they were to be pre-positioned around the state. Should the event be necessary that there was a mass casualty and the EMSs and fire departments of this world would need extra equipment. During the course of this spring, we're planning a mass casualty drill. I inquired as to whether they had these trailers, because in my former role down in Rhode Island, we put those together and distributed them around the state. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of people kind of went, it was supposed to be in Conway, remember that. We had a lot of fun trying to figure out where the hell it was. Nobody seemed to know where it was. And then someone sort of chirped up that, oh, it went back to Loudon about 2 years ago for the race and never came back here. So we had some more fun discussions about this, and we found in forum that you could submit to the state to request one of these for training purposes. So we sent the form in. 6 weeks later, and a lot of around the state, they finally brought it up to us a couple of weeks ago. And we went through it down at the Bartlett Jackson ambulance to see what's in there. There's a lot of good stuff. And if we, hopefully you don't need it. It hasn't been used, which is a good thing. But if you need it, you want it. If we needed it, we were told it would be a 4-hour response. Now, my experience with the station fire down Rhode Island, that scene was cleaned up in 1 hour and 45 minutes. Boston, the bombings were cleaned up in less than an hour because of the nature of where it happened. All the medical personnel were right there. In an MCI, and you could go on YouTube and you can watch some really wonderful videos of how the Israelis handle things, they're generally cleaned up and done in an hour. And you don't want to have, I told people involved with the state, I said, well, if it comes 4 hours later, it better have some nice brooms and stuff like that. That's about all it's going to be good for. They asked us if we wanted to keep it up here.
In Jackson.
In Bartlett and or Jackson. The logical place for us to keep it was at the Bartlett Fire down at Glen, where we keep the ambulance. But there's not room enough there. It's a 22-foot long trailer. You're more than welcome to go by. It's sitting outside of the station down there. So the next thought was whether there might be some room at Gray's Inn for it. Now, I've had some discussions with Jay. He's cleaned up the inside of that place quite a bit, and he is amenable to us storing it in there. There is no responsibility to the town. Any agreements that would be put together were between Bartlett Jackson Ambulance Squad and the state. The state will come and maintain it. Should it be necessary, we are going to arrange for us to be alertified through Carroll County Sheriff, which is how we do our dispatch anyways, and we would tow it to wherever it's needed. I believe it's a good thing to have it in the valley. I don't think 4 hours is a pretty unacceptable wait for something like that. It has 50 backboards in it, IV equipment, ICS stuff, it has a generator, it has portable lighting. This is the kind of thing that if we got it to a scene somewhere throughout the valley, if we got it there within a half hour, it could really have some positive outcome on the handling of disaster. And if it needed to be, it could be kept in the scene of a disaster to act as sort of a command post kind of thing. So basically what I would need from you all is just a motion to say that it was all right to store it at Gray's Inn.
How long?
We don't know until we don't need it.
Yeah.
And if for some reason this doesn't work out and we want to send it back, we can do that. We can tell the state, come get it. We don't want it here anymore. But maybe it's the kind of thing you might want to do on a year-to-year basis. It's up to you all.
So where specifically, or have we identified room for it to be
Yes,
stored?
right next to the Red Cross trailer. There's a Red Cross disaster trailer in there too. So it would be put in there in such a way that it wouldn't inhibit any other use, because the police use that for impounding cars. There's a lot of other various storage stuff in there. It's my understanding that there are always discussions about that property in general. So if you wanted to do something on a year-to-year basis, whatever. I just think we probably could come up with the equipment that's in it, just scrounging around the valley, but if you need it, it's the kind of thing you need. You don't
And it would be the most northern one, wouldn't it? Or the one in Littleton?
No, there's one north of here up in, I'm not sure where, in Lancaster, I
I
think.
think it's Lancaster.
I think there's one in Lancaster. I don't know what happened down in Conway, why it's not there. I do know there's a hazmat trailer in Conway. But in preparing for this drill, they said, well, we could get one out of Paris, Maine. And I was like, you've got to go to Maine to get a trailer for New Hampshire, when there are 12 trailers here in this state already.
So it would be one of 12 in the state?
There are 12 in the state. Most of them are down in the southern part of the state. There isn't one up here. There isn't one north of, look up, take it back, except for Lancaster's. It's not going to cost us anything. So,
I would support it. I make a motion to store it in Gray's garage until further notice, until we decide it isn't an appropriate process.
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
and the last thing I have is just an informational thing. There's a new fellow who's just come into being part of the Carroll County Public Health Preparedness Coordinator, and we're investigating the possibility of putting together a flu clinic for the fall, maybe doing a blood with the ambulance, in cahoots with the ambulance, and doing like a blood pressure screening kind of thing, just to have a venue for people to get a flu shot. But it's still in an investigatory standpoint. Who knows who would pay for the flu shots, that type of thing, who would dispense them, all that good stuff, where we would do it. But I just want to bring up that that's something we're looking at doing. And that's all I have.
Is there a hazardous waste day coming up? I know we used to,
In the fall, you should have had a notice by now.
you check on
One of
that?
you boys can volunteer. I did it every,
There is something on the,
it doesn't cost.
Didn't cost you anything?
No, unless you get too much then, but it's minimal.
No. And that's down at the Conway transfer station?
Yeah, at the Conway.
Thanks, Pete.
Transfer station.
All right.
8 to
Thank you,
12.
Tom. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Rid of
Thank you, sir.
all that bad stuff.
Well, yeah.
Let's see, under new business, got a couple of things here. Got a driveway request, underground cable permit, North Hampshire Ridge Road, map lot V7/116. Dear sir, I'm writing request approval to install driveway with a culvert on North Hampshire Ridge Road. Driveway and underground cable permit application enclosed with copies of wetlands permit issued by the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services and projected site approval plan as a reference.
and Jay already signed off on that. It's just-
Jay said it's okay?
Yes.
No issues? So, need a motion, I guess, to accept this plan?
Motion
Sign.
to
Second?
accept the plan,
All those in
sign
favor?
the permit.
Aye.
And today's the 22nd, so it's 8/22. Got a notice here from John Edgerly, the roof and the walls of the transfer station building are in need of some repair. Are the Jackson Selectmen willing to move ahead with repairs of this building and take the money out of the Bartlett transfer station account? Have a nice day, Brenda. Sounds a little sarcastic, have a nice day. Do we know how much money it is? I mean, that would
She
be,
didn't know, that's.
I mean, I don't like to write blank checks, you know?
Yeah,
I would say, it's fine with me, I just want to know how much it is. I mean, you know, they got to have an estimate. I mean, I can't imagine we're going to do work without an estimate.
okay.
Can we find that out first? Is
Yeah.
everybody agreeable to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, how much is in that fund right now, that fund account? I mean,
Yeah, check the balance on that.
I'm wondering if we can, just so it's not stretched out, they're looking for us to approve that. You want to put something out there not to exceed a certain amount right now so that they don't have to wait another 2 weeks, or is it that big of a deal?
I'm sure they want to get it done before the winter,
Right.
obviously. And
Right.
you know, I don't think 2 weeks would probably stretch them out too bad, but I gotta know how much it is. I mean, I just,
Right.
you know, make sure we get enough money in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. All right. Oh, boy, what's this one? Add
That
attached
one
fire.
is, yeah, that one, Pat, the name's on the back, Pat Roberts dropped that off. And basically, we've already been refunded for the fire, and this is that they're trying to get refunded for, Bartlett already refunded us. And
Oh, so they're trying to get the money from
They're trying to
them.
get money from the state, so it has to be sent up.
So we have to sign this somewhere?
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, it's gonna be on the first page. I think it's at the bottom,
Selectmen?
yeah.
Can I get a motion to sign the add attached fire reimbursement form?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
All right.
All right. Approval is 22nd, 2013. All right, that kills new business.
The one new business item that I've got that's just come up as a result of the meeting is that I think we need to face that we need to find more funding for the animal control officer, or resign ourselves that nothing more is going to happen with that licensing this year. And I mean, it just seems to me like it's short money, and I'd hate to see all this work just halted
Right.
because we can't find any more money. And then beyond that, she's already used up her stipend for the entire year anyway. So I think that in order to kind of support where that's gone at this point, and the increased effort and the increased organization and the framework now that we've constructed, built around this animal control officer position, that we find some more money to support those efforts. I'd like to find another $500, and I'd like to see if we could put our town office administrator to work to kind of see if there's a line item somewhere that's we could find some funding in.
Sure.
That's why I asked Carl.
Yep.
She's paid for out of his budget.
Right.
I don't know if there's a closer look that can be paid to that, or some people
I
can
will do some searching.
come together. Yeah, that would be great. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I would love to have $500 more to move on with this thing. Yes, I just don't know where to get it. So.
Yeah, I don't think you can just swap.
No,
line
you
items
can't.
up.
You really need to find it in the police budget. I don't know if there's some more attention that could be paid to that budget. Have a conversation with Carl, brainstorm, whatever.
I agree. I think, you know, so much effort been put into it, just to shut it down because of lack of funds, it's kind of fruitless.
Would there be any, could you ever work in Jeanette's budget, because it has to do with collecting?
Taxes,
Yeah.
fees.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's too much of a crossover. 'Cause-
I don't know that any of us.
Yeah.
I'll ask LGC.
Yeah, okay.
What the rules are. else? Do we want to bring up that? What is it? We talked about new
Well, it was
business
brought to our attention that we used to have annual inspections for commercial buildings and businesses in town for safety code compliance and
life safety, life fire safety code. And somewhere a long time ago, before I was here, apparently that conversation just dropped, and we don't know why. And I think what we have to do is investigate some minutes and find out, what happened to that issue.
It was for new businesses that,
commercial businesses, like
Commercial.
yearly annual
Okay.
inspections.
Commercial built businesses.
According to Andy, there was a time when businesses were annually inspected,
okay.
and that it just stopped and dropped at some period of time. And he might be able to pin that down a little more, but it's our understanding that there's a record of the Board of Selectmen at the time approving that. And so we really have no inspection process, and we have no idea whether towns or businesses are in compliance with safety code, safety codes or what, and that it might be in our best interest to make sure that businesses are. I mean, a lot of people come here, tourists, use the town, kind of assume the buildings they're staying in are safe, and since those inspections have stopped, we don't know that.
It was prior to me being here, so go.
Andy might be able to pin down the
Okay.
period of time when that stopped.
Okay.
Look at when
Sean Bergeron
Right.
was involved at that time.
yeah,
And it might have been when he left the employee of the town.
You know, it could be just tracking his his payment history,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
that'd give a date.
Yeah, that might be a good way to start. Yeah. Maybe even give him a call and see if he recalls. Sean might recall when that happened too. Anything else?
I got nothing.
All right, old business, job descriptions, highway department, part-time to be approved.
Jay, get a look at that?
He did look at it, and he was good with it.
Make a motion that we approve the part-time highway department job description.
I second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And next on there is knotweed.
Knotweed.
Knotweed. Apparently we got out to at least most of the property owners, the plight we're in with the knotweed.
The letter, yes.
Have we got any response from
I
anybody?
think we have only gotten one inquiry, nothing, no formal response saying no.
Okay.
Nothing yet.
Good. And was our plan to send 2 letters over a period of time, or we just sent the one?
Well, we can certainly
No.
send two.
No, I'm just trying to get up to speed on what our plan was.
I
think we had a
believe,
good-
as far as I know, we were just sending one and it was not sent certified because it was gonna just be too costly.
Right,
But we were gonna see if we got any letters back and
Right.
work with it that way.
okay. All
I
right.
recall one letter.
Okay, all right, good enough. And we asked them to get back to us by the 13th.
By the 13th.
And the gentleman that we've been in discussion with to spray, Prescott Toll, was actually had put down a tentative date to come up and spray on Friday, September 6th, with a rain date of Saturday, September 7th. And we responded that, well, we've given landowners until the 13th to respond to the letter. So in my mind, it was fine to have him come on the 13th and choose a rain date of the 14th. By then, landowners will have had these letters for over a month, at least a month, and we asked them to get back to us by the 13th. So in order
September or August?
September. And in order to not have him have to rearrange his schedule too much, I felt like, hey, by the 13th, when he shows up, we'll
Did you get
know.
confirmation from him about the
I did
Oh, I
get
did
a
not get-
response, he said that will be fine.
I did not get
I
that.
think it just came today and I
Oh,
looked at
okay.
it on my iPod or something, but
Okay.
I'll forward it to you.
And we do have a couple of people interested in having him spray, not on the posted area, but they're gonna, on their own cost.
Property.
Right.
On their own property.
Right.
So I'm gonna probably send something out, probably next week, for anyone for e-news, that anyone else that would like
Yep.
to have that done, that way we can get a list for him.
Yeah.
On a humorous note, I interrupted a nice big bull moose chewing on it on Dundee the other day.
A what?
A big bull moose chewing on it.
We didn't
On-
talk
on
about
Right.
some
that. We
knotweed?
didn't talk about if that helped or spreads it or.
Yeah,
He was happy, took a chunk of it out, kept going down the road.
knotweed droppings all over the place.
Subcontract.
That's how it gets expressed.
Knotweed bullets.
Patient curious.
Wow. Knotweed,
Good
knotweed, there's the non-chemical removal method right
There you go.
We're looking for a natural agent to get rid of it.
We haven't had a predator for it, so now we got.
Don't tell anybody you saw a moose over there, please.
All right.
Just strike that for a minute. It wasn't on Dundee Road.
Anything else on knotweed?
I got nothing.
All right. All right, and thank you letter to be signed to John Bashara for letting us use his parking lot for highway paving. And I just wanted to thank you for allowing the highway department and Pike Paving use the Black Mountain parking lot to stockpile gravel and set up for paving. It's been a tremendous help and we really appreciate it. So take a motion to sign that.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That kills that. Any other public comments? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to move into non-public session, 2 non-public sessions to discuss RSA 91-8:32A on 2 separate occasions.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll take that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bob. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Hank.